Let's do it.
Scotch, bourbon, and rye, yeah, we on that whiskey. Wanna discuss an array of topics, conversation simply. Gonna drop your whiskey bars with the sip hitting for. Could you pass it, you want more? Another glass, let it flow. Steady pour. Steady pour. Yeah, a steady pour. A steady pour of growing, a steady pour of sharing, a steady pour of knowing. Now pass that Glen Carry. So pull up a chair, grab a glass, and enjoy a melanin-infused perspective with a whiskey twist. Yeah, yeah, a steady pour.
A steady pour here. What? A steady pour here.
Yeah.
What? Yes, sir. Welcome to another episode of A Steady Pour podcast. I'm your pour coach, Drew.
Calvin.
Tony, what's up?
Darius, what it do?
And we are your co-hosts for this episode where we have 3 whiskeys to review.
3 bottles. Bottles on bottles on bottles.
We go through 3 of them.
Yeah.
What's the most that we've ever done in an episode?
One episode?
More than 3?
I want to say in episode 3.
3?
Didn't we do 4 one
No,
time?
we've done more. Like
did
sample
like a-
packs we got where we were just trying a bunch of stuff. Definitely done
Yeah.
more.
One episode?
Yes,
Yeah, I think we tried at least 4 samples at one time.
at least.
Okay.
I wanna say-
I can't
I think 4. I think 4 was
If
the max.
we did it,
Yeah.
we did it one time.
Yeah,
That's why we don't do it
remember
anymore.
it. I don't recall what it was.
And the episode was probably over an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
100%,
Absolutely.
yeah.
We're like, we can't do that again.
That was expensive.
But you know, we're professionals.
We're professionals.
We try to be.
So
Don't try this at home.
Yeah. So we
Capital P.
can do this under a certain amount of time, and if not, then it's gonna get edited to that time.
Right. Thank you,
I
Cap.
don't do my man like that.
But with that said, Tone, tell us what we have.
Yeah, man. So the people at Seelbach,
Seelbach?
company we all like and shop from,
Yep.
they sent us some bottles.
Thank you, Seelbach.
Yeah, we didn't ask for anything. They just said, "Would you guys like to have these and review?" And we said, yeah,
Absolutely.
we would love that." So,
That's with a good time.
so these are from their like private reserve collection that they have. So they do, they help a lot of companies who are getting started out and supply online shipping for them, basically. But they also do their own store picks, and they also do private select barrels that they do. And these are all sourced. So we don't know the exact sourcing of these. We could probably make some guesses on some of them, but yeah, they have a whole line of private reserve collection that they do. So these are 3 of those.
Okay,
All
nice.
right.
Yeah.
I'm excited
I'm
to get in.
excited.
We certainly had D on the show,
Yeah.
and
yes.
we
And-
learned.
Yeah, I was gonna say Darius had one of these as well, right? I think.
Yes, I had
Not
one
these
that
3,
was
but-
not these 3. It was the one that was finished in the French oak barrels and maple syrup.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that was delicious. That's probably one of my
Yeah,
favorite
that
ones.
one was really good.
Oak staves in America?
No, it was French oak
barrels
barrels,
and then
and then
rebarreled again?
rebarreled in maple
Okay.
syrup barrels. So
It was
that
good.
was delicious.
Yeah.
Man, that's one of my favorites of last
There's
year.
probably so many layers to that.
I was.
So many layers.
I'm excited about these though. These are
Yeah.
interesting.
Word.
So as you know, Seelbach's, their thing is they really like to bring out the craft distilleries. And on top of that, they do a number of single barrels with these craft distillers. And when you do enough of single barrels, I feel like they always end up moving into the market where they start blending their own, right? So that's where they're at with these, right? When they pick these barrels, do they blend them? Are these blended or are these just actual barrels that they...
I think these are this one is a blend on the far left.
But I think what he's asking is, are they pre-blended or blended by them?
That is a
It's a mystery.
good question, which I do not know.
It's a mystery.
I might have to ask Blake or D.
I feel like we should have done this research.
But with this, but when you think about craft spirits, I think it reminds me about the stages of bourbon, your whiskey journey. When you start out with whiskey, you're used to probably only having what's behind the bar that's 80 proof, right? That's commonly known, right? Then you move into Blanton's, right? That becomes your favorite bottle that you're hunting. Then you might move into some of the more Buffalo Trace selections or other distilleries like that. Then you start moving into, trying to get all the allocated. right? And then you go into like, all right, this is a bit much. It's hard to find. Let me do single barrels now, right? So then you start joining single barrel clubs, and and then you realize like I can't catch all of these. Can't catch them all. So instead of chasing these high expensive allocated ones, I'm gonna start looking to the craft, right? And so I want to learn about some of the crafts, and I think that's sort of where the market that I think Seelbach's really tries to highlight and cater to, in addition to all the other stuff as well. And so I appreciate that, because I think I'm almost there in my whiskey journey, where I'm starting to like, all right, let me look at some of these craft distillers more and see how that compares to what I'm used to. So, and then after that, I think people start blending their own stuff, and I don't know where else.
Infinity bottles.
That's what I'm trying to get us to.
Your own barrels in your yard.
I'm trying to get a steady pour blend. You think I'm kidding? It's gonna happen. It's going to happen.
Cal's moving
It needs
ahead.
to happen.
All right.
It shall happen.
So the first one that we're gonna have here from Seelbach, which one is this?
This is the 8-year private reserve Seelbach cast strength straight bourbon whiskey, and it's 118 proof.
Okay.
That is the lowest proof that we have.
The lowest of what we
I
got.
mean, that
Like
sounds,
118.
that sounds pretty nice to me. You know what I mean?
So on the back, this one says distilled in Kentucky and bottled in Florida. So distilled in Kentucky, that, like we said, we don't know the exact source on it, but
Right. So
it could be-
they shipped the barrels down to Florida, and then they got bottled.
I think that's where Blake lives,
Okay.
who is owner of the company.
Okay.
And like we said, we know Dee. We interviewed her before,
Right.
and then Brian's another person who works with them. But it's Blake's overall conception and company. So
All right.
Very nice. Very nice.
As Dee would say, let's get into it.
it. Really nice nose.
It is. There's something familiar about the nose, like, and I'm trying to put my finger on something else that we've had that smells very similar to this.
A note, or like coming from a major distillery that we had stuff from.
Coming from a major distillery.
Okay.
It's a layering. It's a overall. It's not like one note. There's a creaminess to the nose that I can't put my finger on.
Tony, you got any notes on the nose?
Yeah, I mean it's very pleasant, very light. I'm almost getting some some traditional bourbon notes. I agree with Cal. Even on the nose, there's some like creaminess and some stuff going on. Some light fruit notes. Just very light and kind of fluffy on the nose for me. It's nice.
Fluffy.
I'm getting a lot of sweetness on the nose.
Yep.
I'm getting yes, your traditional caramel, but I'm getting some honey notes on there. It's definitely drizzled in honey.
Uh-oh.
Caramel
Not just-
drizzled.
Are your pants on?
Just
Now,
drizzle.
it's not
there.
but it's not like that's not like the only note, right? That's just like it's there.
One button coming undone.
Nah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! Stop.
He said drizzled in honey. I just got nervous. I'm sitting next to him.
The word drizzled is just
It's wild.
bananas to you. But go ahead, let them talk, let them speak. Speak your truth.
It's what
Glazed in honey.
No, I use that word because when it's intentionally and
I
put
get it.
there, you know what I mean?
It's like when you grab the honey, you just like you know what I mean. You just like I need all that.
artfully placed.
Stop it. Not you. Continue. Stop
Don't
it.
zoom in on me when I did that. Don't.
Come on, Cal.
You know I'm zooming in on you. Why would you even?
Money shots drizzling over here next to me. What is going on?
Yeah. Please reboot me. I need to be rebooted.
I'll find another one. It
We
was
need to go back to factory settings. Go ahead, Drew. My bad. We cut him off.
the honey was artfully placed onto this whiskey here, and so I'm getting a lot of the sweetness. I'm getting some of that. I'm getting some little butterscotch as well. So there's a lot of sweetness going on here.
Yeah, I agree. It's very sweet. Not too strong though. For me, it was very nice and subtle, not too overbearing. I feel like I get some maybe maple syrup kind of in there a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are getting that, but yeah, it's very, very, very pleasant on the aroma. I'm liking it. I'm looking forward to what it tastes like.
Cal.
I still can't put my finger on what it is that I'm smelling. It smells very familiar.
I agree.
I agree with the honeys. I agree with I wouldn't necessarily call it light. I'm trying to think of a different adjective that I would call it. I understand what you mean by light. Like it's not an overpowering smell, but there's a depth to it. So I can't necessarily call it light either.
Yeah.
It's almost like it has the honey and the butterscotch and all that, and then once that was in, they blended that with a little cream, which lightens up everything. But there's still this depth of smells that I'm getting out of it. I wish the note was like jumping out at me.
Yeah.
It's like no ethanol either. It's just like
Yeah.
it's just all aroma.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to
very,
smell.
very nice. Like you wouldn't even think it was bourbon.
I would say when I said light, I didn't mean that there was a lack of flavor.
Right.
It's very flavorful. It's just not a heavy
Right.
Yeah.
ethanol.
Like I
Very
feel
complex.
you.
Yeah.
I wish I could think
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
I don't like
you
the
know what
word
I mean?
light.
Yeah, because I've smelled light before. We've smelled light before, and it's this subtle. This.
Yeah.
Subtle. It knows what it's doing, and it's just like I'm just gonna stay here,
Yeah.
medium range. I don't want to hurt you with my aroma. You know what I mean? I smell good, but I don't want to hit you too hard with it.
Right. Like it just walked past you. Like,
Wait, hold up.
Hold on now.
Turn around
Ready
real
to go on
quick.
this?
Let's see what you're working with. Oh, we about to.
Okay. Okay.
Indeed. Okay, so it's on the palate. It is not as sweet
No.
as I thought it was gonna be.
A little hotter.
It's definitely hotter than I thought it was
wasn't prepared
gonna be.
for the
And it's a slow burn. It's a cinder. It starts right here, right below the throat, and then it just sears out. Yeah, I can feel it inside of my chest.
In my chest. I agree with you on the on the taste. It definitely, the heat comes in more where you're like, where was that proof on the nose? Oh, there's the proof on the palate.
You know this. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, you good. I mean, I get some of the similar kind of creaminess and some of the notes on the nose, but I think you're right. The sweetness kind of drops out of there. I guess there's hints of it still on the palate, but following up on what I thought the nose was going to be, I thought it was going to carry over a lot more of those, honey, caramel, kind of traditional bourbon notes. And you're getting a lot more like the heat, the oak, the a little more of the ethanol type notes, but it's still solid.
This is a winter pour for sure.
Oh yeah,
You know what this reminds me of? The 1792 pour, the full.
full proof.
The full proof?
Really? That hot.
He
No,
always
not
says that when
not
it's hot.
that hot, but it's like you weren't ready for it, kind of deal. Where it's like based on this nose, and then when you went to go take a sip of it, it just kind of caught me off guard. I
see
wasn't
that.
ready for it to be that hot. So when I drink,
So not Charizard.
not
That's a good memory on that.
maybe Charmander, but nah, it's up there. It's flaming. It's flaming.
And it's also, I get a lot less heat on the palate and more, like I said, in your
Finish.
chest. Like you feel it in here. That Kentucky hug is for real. Like it is fully embracing you. But on the palate, it's not as stingy. It's not as like scorching your palate.
There's some nice flavors there initially.
On the first one, it did. On the second one and the third, it's not as stingy because I'm wondering if it laid a nice covering for the rest, right?
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Definitely primed
It
whatever wasn't
numbed
primed
your-
before.
Protective barrier, like we here now. Let's we got more coming.
It just numbed it for what's to come.
And it's actually in a good way because I'm getting more of the flavors that, and not so much thinking about that searing that was happening initially. So those notes that I was getting that I said it was artfully placed on, that's definitely like decorative. That was definitely decorative because, like you said, it's not, you don't get much of the the sweetness. Although you can taste a little bit of it. What you get is a bit more of, for me, it was like a dark chocolate, a little bitterness, or like that was happening. But then the sweetness kind of then came in a little bit there, where it was enjoyable, but it was also searing. If someone was new to whiskey was trying to go up in proof to see how that would be, this is not the one.
No.
But after, like I said before, after that first sip, I was then able to enjoy more of the notes that were there that I was mentioning before. So,
Okay.
shall we do how much of a pour? Who wants to go first? Darius.
Oh man, that's tough. It is a tough one. So I agree with you. I think we all kind of got caught off guard based on the aroma and then hit that initial flavor. But yeah, the flavors did kind of expound once we had that first pour, and I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more. But it's still pretty hot. Like, this is a winter pour, 100%. Like, I'm definitely going to say this for the winter. So with that being said, gosh, am I mad at it a little bit? I feel like I'm a little mad at it because I wanted it to be a lot more sweeter than what it was. But I wouldn't put this in a cocktail. I'm probably going to just go a solid 3.
Okay.
I'm going to go a solid 3 for me. Yeah, 3.
Calvin?
I mean, I more or less agree with that assessment. I am a little mad at it only because the nose is very pleasant. It's very inviting.
Yeah.
And it slaps you in the chest as soon as you drink it.
Flair.
And it's just like, oh, like all by itself, right? I would give it a 3. But I think I got to give it a 2.75 just because of the transition between smelling it and drinking it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I get you.
You know what I mean?
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Tony?
That's funny. I was actually between 2.75 and 3. So when you guys both gave those, I was like, okay, so I can go with either one. Yeah.
I'm safe.
I think I'm gonna go with Cal 2.75. I mean, it's not. There's nothing like bad about it. I think it's just that nose was so good, and I just wanted a little bit more of it to carry over. There's enough of it on the palate to make it. You know, I'm not mad at it. But I just
kind of.
But yeah. But I just wish there was a little bit more follow through on some of those notes. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
How much of a pour am I going to give this? I was fluctuating up and down as you guys were talking and tasting the last bit there. I definitely did enjoy that last sip I had there. So I'm actually going to keep it at a 3-ounce pour.
Okay.
I'm not mad at it because it's, you know, while I like some of the flavors that are there, it did touch on that chocolate and so forth, and there's some sweetness. It was just how it greets your palate initially. And even afterwards, you still kind of feel the proof of it. I would say definitely drinks higher than the 118.
Yes.
And so you know, it greet my palate like a over anxious uncle that hasn't seen you in a while and still trying to be cool. Like, what up, nephew? Ah, you know, like
Calm down.
Mad aggressive with the hug.
yeah, exactly.
Just stop real quick. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah. So
Kind of reminds me of a Sour Patch Kid commercial. You know,
Wait.
where it's like, well, actually, so the commercials are usually the reverse. They'll usually do something wrong to you, and then they'll give you like a hug.
I know you're talking about.
This is the reverse. It gives you the hug, and then it slaps
They're
you.
sweet, then they're sour.
Right.
So that's 3-ounce pour for this. All right, shall we move on to the next one?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. All right, bet. Tone, what we got here, man, for this next pour?
What's the next one?
All right, so this is the Seelbach's 10-year cask strength straight bourbon whiskey.
Okay.
So this one is 119 proof, so only 1 proof point up.
Really?
On the back it says distilled in Indiana, so I have a guess to where they might have sourced from. Indiana, place we've had a lot of Indiana bourbons from, and distilled in bottled in Florida.
This one smells a little hotter.
You think?
For me, I get a little bit of a singe.
Yeah.
Compared to the last one. The last one was just straight
Well,
aroma.
we described the last one as light. I would not say that this is light.
No, this is.
Yeah,
This is
I'm getting a richness. It's like a rich
Yeah.
vanilla.
There we go. Yeah.
Almost like a pound cake.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a rich vanilla pound cake with some of the traditional whiskey notes in there, but it's when you said heaviness, I was getting like richness, thick.
Thick.
Definitely thick.
No, that thing is.
I'm getting
thing is thangin'.
I'm getting more like before we were getting like the sweetness. I'm still getting some sweetness on this, but it's more like molasses. You know, it's like you just got finished saying, it's the thicker. It's got it's
This is pretty thick.
and it's also a little darker. So like meaning it's kind of a toast to it. It's you know, it's the caramelized sugars, not caramel itself, right? It doesn't necessarily have that butter behind it, but it's got that toast to it. It's got that browning on it.
So it's funny. The other bourbon, the 8-year, I would say had a light nose and then kind of brought the heat. And this one's like reverse. Like for me, it had like a super rich, kind of funky, dark nose, and then I really like the palate on this. Like you know what I mean? Like
It's definitely a lot lighter.
yeah, it's lighter. I feel like, you know how you were talking about molasses and kind of like those dark notes. I feel like on the palate you're getting more of the caramels and the brown sugars and the kind of the more traditional bourbon notes, and the finish is pretty light to me. It's not like stinging or anything like that.
It's got a little bit of a thing.
I mean, not compared to.
No, it doesn't have the heat. It's got
okay.
more sting, way less heat.
Way less heat.
It does not hit me in the chest like that.
No.
8-year.
That's what I'm, I guess, commenting
A
on.
drizzle of flavors.
Drew, do you get a drizzle on this one?
Right.
No, I'm. This actually, everything that I was getting on the nose follows through on the palate for me. This is a vanilla pound cake happening on this, and the richness is there on the palate. I do feel the proof, but not like the previous one, and it doesn't sting or simmer per se, but I can feel it's there.
It's hugging you.
So yeah, so it's this is a solid pour.
Yeah.
Darius, you got any other notes on it?
Yeah, it's like you guys said, it's a nice flavor there compared to the last one. Not really a punch to the palate, but then it kind of drops off for me. It's not really much of a finish there. It's kind of like that nice initial, like Drew said, vanilla kind of pound cake, and then that's it. But the Kentucky hug is still there, and it's nice, a nice warming. Like it's still not as hot as that one, but it's still it's letting me know it's there, 100% on the back end. But there's no real punch on as far as the flavor goes for the finish. It's just kind of like you get that initial flavor, and then it kind of wanes out a little bit.
Gotcha.
But it's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay. I'll go first. How much of a pour? I will say for me, I'd say 3.25. 3.25 for this. It's certainly slightly better than the previous. And I am enjoying, I like it sometimes when it, exactly what you're getting on the nose, it follows through on the palate. I do like a pound cake. So being reminded of that as I sit through this, I like that. So, like I said, I'm not mad at it. So 3.25.
Yeah.
Tone?
I'm with you, man. 3.25. I'm not mad at it. I do prefer it to the 8 just because I feel like there was just a stark difference in the nose to, what we were expecting on the palate and what we got on the palate on the 8-year. And I feel like this is more of a consistent journey. I feel like the heat is a little more evenly dispersed on this palate and finish for me. And in some of the, I guess I wouldn't say this is like a super higher proof, but some of the higher proof bourbons that you have, I appreciate that kind of being dispersed out a little bit more with more flavors and a little bit more going on. So yeah, this is solid. It's really
Could it
good.
also be that because we tried that one first,
It's possible.
that it kind of
Yeah.
laid the groundwork for this one now too, so it doesn't hit us harder?
It's
I
always possible.
thought about that.
I was just thinking about it just now. I'm like, it could.
possible.
I wonder how that would have been if we
Yeah.
tried that one first. Now I'd be able to go back to that by itself on a random day.
I mean,
pop that open,
it's
see
also
what's-
aged a bit longer.
10 years versus 8.
This does say it has a high rye bourbon mash bill,
Yeah.
where I'm not seeing that on the first one. So I mean, there's
No, this one's a high rye. Both are high rye.
Yeah.
does it say that on there as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so but 8 years versus 10 years, distilled in Kentucky versus distilled in Indiana. There's differences.
I mean, so I think the high rye shines a little more in the 10-year. I think you're getting a little bit more spice on the palate, a little bit more sting on the palate for me. I'm not getting much as far as the Kentucky hug. To me, that hug that I was getting on the 8-year, I'm feeling on the palate more than I'm feeling on the body.
Oh man.
It's not an excessive sting, but it's noticeable, especially compared to the 8-year, and especially compared to the heat I'm getting as far as the hug is concerned. I think I'm going to give this a 3. I'm not mad at it, and to your guys' point, because the difference between the nose and the palate, I think, is definitely more consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what you're expecting to get, you more or less get. I didn't get the pound cake on the nose, but I'm
It's
getting
there.
it more on the
Yeah.
palate than I did get on the nose.
Yeah. I enjoy it more than a 3.25, but not so much as a 3.5. So I think I'm just going to stick with you guys at 3.25 right there.
Okay.
I think it has a little bit more depth as far as the flavor goes. And I didn't know it was a high rye. Is it high rye? Oh, okay.
High rye mash bill.
Interesting. Yeah, I do enjoy that flavor a little bit more. I wish I had a little bit more that it followed through. But the hug is nice. I feel like I got the hug all the way through on the palate and and on the internals. To be honest. But it was nicer on this one. I enjoyed it more on this one. So yeah, I'm gonna go 3.25.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, and actually prior to all of these bottles, we primed our palates with a 3-year high rye. We don't have to say.
Oh, we got it already.
Yeah. So,
We don't have to say.
yeah, we don't have to say. But yes, shall we move on to the next?
Let's
The
do it.
last and final one.
All right, Tone, what we got on the third bottle here?
All right, so this is the Pride of Indiana, 10 years, straight American whiskey.
Okay.
So this is actually a small batch blend of 17-year-old American light whiskey and 10-year-old bourbon. So this
Okay.
is different than what we
Wow, that sounds very different.
These other
Anybody want to explain what a white light whiskey is?
Sounds like you do. Go for
two. Yeah,
it.
come on, Cal.
Cow.
Bourbon steward.
Isn't it an executive?
I hate you both.
What is it again? What are you?
Come on, Professor.
What's
Tell us
your
what's
title?
going on.
Light whiskey is when you finish a bourbon in a used white oak barrel.
Okay.
Because in order to be a bourbon, it's got to be in a new white oak barrel. If you use a used one, then it's all light whiskey.
So as soon as you make that designation to finish in a different type of barrel, it's
It's not new
not
charred oak.
necessarily a bourbon anymore. It's a American whiskey
Well, I
or a light
believe
whiskey.
to be a light whiskey is a used, like it's a bourbon. It's everything that a
Yeah,
bourbon
yeah.
would be, but instead of
Used.
using a new barrel, you use a used barrel, and then it becomes a light whiskey.
Got you.
Is there a benefit to doing that versus using the what
A benefit? I don't know if there's a benefit, but I know that it just departs from it being a bourbon.
Yeah.
So I think they just needed to name it something else.
Also, I
So
think
I don't.
the parameters aren't as strict on that, right? You
Right.
have a lot more variance on proof.
So I think the benefit maybe is experimentation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Figuring out whether
Cost maybe.
if well, maybe there
Reuse the barrel.
probably right. There's probably a cost benefit to it. To your point, but I also think that maybe because it's kind of seasoned,
Yeah, I get
there
you.
might be a benefit to the flavors, perhaps. Yeah.
It's like using a cast iron skillet that's been reseasoned,
Right,
and then you
right, and then you use it again.
Put that chicken in there now.
Now I will say this: when it comes to the actual barrel itself and the flavors that are like in the barrel, you're only gonna get maybe 3. You know what I mean? Uses out of it before like the tannins and stuff like that are just kind of used up.
Yeah. I got you.
But there could be a benefit to the seasoning of it before you like that second one might just have a depth of flavor that the first one is just never gonna have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got you.
I don't know.
All right.
Very interesting.
His nose is different.
It is. Funny, I'm getting a little bit more of the barrel in the best kind of way.
More of the barrel. I'm still getting
Not
some
as sweet.
vanilla notes,
You are.
but it's way different than the
Yeah.
bourbons. They're just the straight bourbons. It's like
I think it's more sweet than the 10-year, less sweet than the 8-year.
okay.
I
Go with you on that.
I am getting heat on this.
Heat. There is
Really?
more heat. There is more heat.
I'm getting like oak, and to Drew's point, just that singe.
Ethanol. I'm getting.
Singe.
Yeah.
I'm getting.
Flame on.
Watch out.
Did we say what the proof is on this?
Let me ask
yeah.
you this: who here likes the
125.
smell?
125.
Who here likes the smell of gasoline?
I don't think I don't hate
I don't
it.
mind it.
I
I don't
Because
hate
it's
it. Yeah.
because that's one of those like smells where some people hate it and some people love it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I think after a while.
Yeah.
Definitely,
I think the health
I get
thing is
dizzy.
why, like, I probably should stop
Well,
smelling it. But I don't
mean
think I should
huffing gasoline.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just
it's
saying,
like-
just the smell,
I can
just
smell
the
it without the
profile.
health complications.
Right.
Yeah, I might go crazy on it. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. But no,
Okay.
yeah, this is.
I hear you on that.
Because I'm just wondering if that like plays into an effect of how certain smells from alcohol kind of hit your nose. You know what I mean? That's all.
Still getting some like confectionery sugar notes and stuff with the heat
Right.
and more of the oak and barrel and all that. Yeah,
Burnt sugar.
It's complex. There's a lot going on the
that
nose.
sugar burned.
Definitely some
sugar.
layers.
Sugar is on fire.
But I'm not getting like that browning burn.
No,
sugary.
no.
Yeah, like I'm getting the straight raw sugar,
Yeah.
not necessarily like toasted.
Right. All right, we're ready to go in.
All right.
There's an initial punch that, like, when I first sipped it, I was like, whoa. Like, that I don't know if it's that light whiskey, that kind of higher proof. But, like, once that kind of mellows out, it's a really nice palate and finish. It dissipates quickly on that initial
heat?
heat. On that initial heat for me.
But you get a finish.
It's like
It definitely slaps you around a bit in the beginning.
yeah, in the beginning, right? That's what I'm saying. That beginning, if you can get past that initial punch, it kind of like mellows out to something really nice.
Yeah, but this heat is like it's staying on the
It's
palate for
lingering
me.
out. For me, it's
Yeah, it's
less and
there.
less as you're getting through the journey. But
It's not terrible, but go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, I'm not getting that actually. This is interesting. I feel because at first when I sipped it, I was like, oh, this doesn't sting as much as any of the previous ones, but yet I still felt its weight.
it's still there.
So
yeah.
it's almost as if the viscosity of it was sort of buffering the heat up into a point where it starts to finish on your palate, and then when then it's like
That sounded crazy.
Hey, bro, just speak your truth, bro.
You know.
Speak it. It's okay. We're all
So-
adults here.
Finished on your palate.
No.
So
You're a child.
There,
More money.
there was like this layering that was sort of protecting the heat for a while, and the flavor notes that I was getting, there were a lot of, I guess, some of the, I would say it was, again, there was some dark chocolate, there was some bitterness, there was some sweetness, but it's, but then on the finish, I was starting to feel the simmer, and it was like, you would have thought you would have tasted that on the initial, and I didn't. So I think I kind of like that, that experience, if you will. Perhaps that could lead to a different level of complexity, if you will, like in terms of how it lands on your palate.
Okay.
It's kind of weird. I'm kind of getting the sense of it almost tastes like the blend of these first two, the 8 and the 10.
Yeah.
Right? I'm getting a little more heat in the chest that I didn't get in the 10 that I got in the 8, but not as powerful as the 8.
Okay.
I'm getting a little more heat in the palate that I got on the 10, but not quite as heavy as the 10.
Yeah.
And then there are a couple of other notes that I'm also getting on top of those. I definitely don't dislike it. I can't tell how much I like it.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
It's very unique.
It's
very unique.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Does anybody have a pour?
I feel like these are all hot. These are all
three?
These are all hot for sure.
Yeah.
This one is more like I feel like a more mature hot, like a blue flame kind of deal. If that makes sense. Like it's more of a mature,
Which,
like
I think of all of these, this one either drinks at its level or even a little below.
yeah.
I would agree to that. Like
Whereas in the other ones, drink at their level or
Hotter.
above.
higher. This one does have I feel like more flavor though. It just it doesn't last for me. It's not like the finishes for all three of them are just kind of like but the initial flavor as we went along the line, it just got better. It got more pronounced. It got more depth to it, but it was still kind of lacking in the finishing. But the heat, the warming of that finish was still there, and the later we got, the last one we got, the more defined that warming sense got, if that makes sense. Like it wasn't just like heat. Like I'm just on
Right.
fire. Just like, oh, that's a nice. I feel good. But yeah, that makes sense. I feel like I said a lot without saying anything.
Keep in mind.
But
So-
I give it. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, now you want to get it?
No, yeah, I would. Man, this is definitely my favorite out of all
wow.
three of them.
Wow.
But yeah, but I wouldn't still go too high. So I'm probably gonna go 3.5. Just a nice even 3.5. Not too mad at it. I'll go for this one again. This was definitely my top out of the three.
Yeah, I'll go next. I'm right there with you. This is walking right up the tasting chart, if you will. This is a 3.5 ounce pour for me. I do like the complexity that it adds to what we had before. I do appreciate how it carries, how it presents the heat, and the flavors are there. So it's getting closer to that 4 ounce pour.
Yeah.
So I would say, but yeah, for me it's a 3.5 ounce pour.
I think I'm going to go with a 3.25. It is my favorite of the three. And honestly, it's not a super departure from the rest. Like I said before, it just feels like a blend of those two, except a little bit more of the grassy, the earth, you know what I mean? A little bit more of the oak. But yeah, they were all enjoyable.
Yeah.
I would say, but this is the most enjoyable.
Tone, close us out.
I think I'm gonna go with a 3 on this guy, which I'm surprised. I'm actually the lowest out of all of us. I think it's not that I don't like it. I'm not mad at it. It's solid. It's very unique. Just on this initial taste, I think I just prefer the 10-year straight bourbon a little bit more.
Okay.
Has a little bit more of a more traditional journey, and I just don't feel like that. It's a little bit more consistent throughout the 10-year, and I think this one I don't know. I feel like if I sat with it a little more, it might go up in my estimation, but just on initial taste, I think it was a little bit, that initial punch was just a lot, and I think it did recover a lot, and I enjoyed kind of what it did from there, but that was a lot of heat to deal with, and I don't feel like it fully, the flavor fully kind of brought all of that heat out. So, but it's not bad. I mean, I think we all enjoyed all 3 of these. I don't think any of them were bad per se. It's just kind of variations on, preference at this point. So,
Right.
yeah, 3
All
points.
different.
And you know what I
3 ounce
noticed?
pour.
I feel like we also judge, especially some of the people that we know. I think we judge them a little harder, just a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I think with these, if they were randos, like true randos, they might be like a 0.25 a little higher than what we gave them, and I don't know why that is. I could speculate.
You think we grade lower based on who?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's because we're trying to not seem biased for one. And I think we kind of understand the palates of the people that we are judging for 2. Like, I just think there's a little bit, and I'm trying not to, but
I would hope they would want our like authentic.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
100%.
Not
absolutely.
just like, hey, this is great,
Yeah.
buy it. Even though I would say these are great.
These are good.
If you
These are
buy
really
them,
good.
you wouldn't
Right.
go wrong.
And I think there are going to be markets for all 3 of these.
all
No,
3.
yeah,
Right,
they
yeah,
all
100%.
very not different but similar.
Yeah, yeah.
That makes sense.
Right. They are definitely different but similar.
Right.
And they do have different. This is like only like a small portion of the portfolio. Like they have a version of the 10-year straight bourbon whiskey double oaked.
That was good.
Which is really good. I had Drew try that at Travel Bar. Shout out to Mike over there.
Okay.
That one is really good. And then they have a 15-year
Okay.
that.
Where are these bottles at?
Right.
I
Why
don't
are
have
we
these
not
bottles.
tasting these bottles?
They're on the way.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Seelbach, hit us up.
they're on the way.
But I mean, I'm just saying, like, so if this is like their baseline products, basically, like the
Okay.
8, the 10-year, and then the American Light Whiskey, like.
My favorite is still that French oak, finishing French oak and maple syrup barrel. That is like
so that's another one of this.
It just that
And
was,
then
that
the
was
double
amazing.
oak and the 15-year. So I'm just saying,
I haven't
like,
tried those, but
They got a lot of expressions.
they have a lot of expressions. And I feel like they're very experimental and like
Yeah,
they have
but
they have one
which I
with a Cabernet finish that's actually really good too.
Cabernet.
It's like out of left field, but it's really tasty. So shout out to
Nice.
Seelbach, man. They hooked us
Shout out
up.
to-
Blake,
Absolutely.
Blake, D, Emily for sending these out, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, with you.
Appreciate y'all.
Yes. Well, there you have it. Shout out to Seelbach. Let us know if you guys have had any of their expressions, what you think of it, and let us know in the socials. And we'll see you there. Deuces.
Peace.
Bloody y'all.
Well, that concludes this episode of